So let's talk about how my farm, and possibly your farm, can make some money. So in this video, I'm going to look at the 6 income streams that we're relying on this year to bring in some money. But before we delve into those, I just want to give you a tiny bit of backstory about our farm. So I've got years of experience in both gardening and livestock keeping, but this is the first time that I've ever farmed for myself and aimed to make it a full-time living. So in the past couple of decades, I've been gradually gaining experience. And then in the last 6 months, we moved away from London and back up to Suffolk, where I've got inherited farmland. So we've got 37 acres of rural Suffolk farmland that is inherited. Now, because of planning conditions, we can't live on the land. So we live about 5 miles down the road. And this year, we're going to try and make the farm as profitable as possible. However, it's a brand new business, it's a farming business. Nobody knows in this area who we are, and we've never produced food from this land before. So if we can break even, then that would be amazing. We don't expect to make a profit or pay ourselves any salaries. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 income streams we're relying on this year. So number 1, and my absolute main focus, is the market garden and the flower farm, which is going to be behind us. The flower farm is going to be here, and the market garden is going to be here, running all the way along there, and the polytunnel is going to be right at the bottom there. And you've seen in some other videos I was producing the compost beds, which are also down there. So the plan this year is to have 10 flower farm crops and 10 market garden crops. I could grow way more than that. But I don't want to stretch myself. I want to try and keep it as relatively small as possible, just to figure out what sells and what doesn't. And I'm going to talk about all of those crops in an upcoming video for 100 days of farming. Now in the UK, the method of producing CSAs, so community supported agriculture, is relatively new and not that many people know about it. So that isn't my main focus for selling. We're going to do a garden gate stand right down by the roadside. We're going to have a stall. It'll be an honesty box most of the week, and then probably 1 day or 2 days a week, depending on how much traffic we get, I may actually sit down there and sell stuff. We're going to try and do farmers markets. Where we live, just down the road, there's a couple of farmers markets every week, I think, and there's several in this local area. So again, we're going to try and go directly to farmers markets, and we will try and do a veg box scheme. But in this first year, while we're still getting our name out, it's unlikely that it's going to take off. Now, I've grown vegetables and flowers for absolute years, but only on an amateur basis, on an allotment or in my back garden. Farming takes that to a whole new level. Not just the site and the size of what you've got to do. There's more predators and pests, because we've got deer roaming around here, we've got hundreds of pigeons, loads of different birds, rabbit, hare, all sorts want to come in and eat your veggies. The lay of the land is a lot more open. In a back garden or an allotment, you've often got a bit of a wind trap. Here, the wind just whistles across the fields. So it's a completely different way of growing. So year 1, I'm not expecting a vast amount of success. I'm just going to be happy if we can get some crops in the ground, harvest, and sell some stuff. And number 2 is hatching eggs. So we have ducks, chickens, pheasants, quail, and we plan to get more types of pheasants and turkeys too. And though you can sell eggs for eating, there really isn't a lot of profit in it. It may just cover the cost of feeding your birds, for example. And I really don't want to have 350, 500 chickens all producing eggs. Instead, we've been very select about the types of chickens and ducks and pheasants we've got, and we sell hatching eggs both in the local area, from the website, and online. And whereas we make £1.50 for 6 edible chicken eggs, if I sell my Ixworth eggs online on a certain auction site, for example, I could make £20 for 6, and that can quickly ramp up. So that is one of the things we're doing, is hatching eggs, and also to a small extent some chicks for the local area, but mostly hatching eggs. It brings in quite a bit of cash, and it really isn't expensive to do. So number 3 is experience days. Now you probably know that we've got sheep and goats, but we're not planning on using them for loads of meat. I don't want to become a meat production line. Of course we will eat some, but for the most part, and especially for this year, experience days are going to be key. So with the goats, for example, we're going to be doing some goat keeping courses, and because of this horrible pandemic and all these lockdowns, lots of people can't get out. So when people can start to come out, we are working on a goat picnic idea, so you can come and spend time with goats and just play with them. With the sheep, a similar thing, so you can come and see the sheep. We can do some courses on keeping sheep in terms of their health, buying sheep, trying to keep them in with fencing and stuff like that. And then also Sard has his falcon, and we have lots of other animals. So experience days are going to be a small starter this year, but we hope that we can bring in some cash onto the farm just by showing people around, educating people on what we're doing and giving them some fun with some goats. Harry, what are you doing? So I have bred our sheep, but the aim of that is, because they're a rare breed, we are actually focusing on producing breeding stock for the future. So we may eat a couple of lambs ourselves, but the focus is on producing a really good standard of ram and ewe. And then the plan also is to get a billy goat and some nannies, so we can actually produce our own milk. And again, they will be pedigree Anglo-Nubians. So there'll be a little bit of money in the future from kids and stuff that we sell, but that's not the main focus of the farm. Hello, and thank you for watching the video. Just a quick shout out to say, if you're enjoying it, please hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing. And if you've got questions, just comment below and I will do my best to answer them. Also, once you've finished the video and you've found out our 6 ways that we're going to make income this year, feel free to watch some of our other farming videos. So number 4 is camping. So over in the UK, you can't just set up a campsite or have RVs or motorhomes come. You need planning for that. However, landowners can do a small amount of camping within reason. I still need to look up the fine details and the legislation behind it, but it's something like you can have 6 plots rented out for a maximum of so many days throughout the year. So we're going to take full advantage of that. Now, we have never done camping before. We've done camping, but we've never had campers on our land before. So we're not entirely sure how it's going to work. We've got this one field that is kind of a forgotten about field. Most of the main farm is over there. And then there's this little field which is right next to the main road. And actually, on the winter dieback and everything, we discovered there's a gate over there. So it would be really easy for campers to drive along the road, come through that gate. We obviously make more of the gate and a proper entranceway, and have some plots of camping on our land during the warmer months of the year. Some of the things we've dabbled about are getting some actual proper bell tents, or just having people bringing their own tents. We've thought about possibly providing campers with their own little chicken coop as well. So if they want a chicken coop with some chickens in, then they camp and they pay an additional fee, and they can get the eggs from their chicken coop for their little bonfires every morning. And then obviously feeding into the campsite is we can potentially sell experience days to people, and we can also sell flower farm and market garden stuff to people. So that is something we're still dabbling with. It would be very rough and ready camping. There's no toilet on site, there's no shower on site. We would probably look to maybe set up a compost toilet and get some running water in, so we could actually provide them with big tubs of fresh water, fresh drinking water or something in the morning. But that's something still in the planning stage, but that we would like to do. Number 5 is, well, you're watching it. It's YouTube. So every time you watch one of my videos, you may see an ad pop up somewhere along the line. And most of you probably know that for that, my channel receives a tiny amount of commission. I'm not saying it's astronomical. If you're somebody like Justin Rhodes or something and you've got hundreds of thousands of followers, then you can make a good income on YouTube. I make between £200 and £300 a month from the AdSense YouTube algorithm, which is nothing to be scoffed at. it's a great income stream to add to all of those other income streams. So YouTube is this fantastic thing where I can share our journey and the development of the farm with you, but we can also create this wonderful community. And many of you have inspired me when I've been feeling really down and wanted to give up or wanted just to stop things. And you've said, well, why don't you try this? Why don't you try this? So there's a lot of back and forth. So I don't really do YouTube for the money. I do it because I love sharing our story. I like making the videos. I like filming all of the lovely animals. And having that little bit of revenue stream on top is great. And number 6 is a complete curveball. It's not really anything to do with farming at all. It's online enterprises. By the way, I'm just up at the pond. Look how full it is. It's full and it's icy. It's fab. Couple more months and hopefully there'll be some frog spawn in there. So getting back to the topic, number 6, as I said, is online enterprises. I have a Redbubble store where I sell designs on t-shirts and things like that. And in the past, I also was a science fiction and fantasy author, and I have books published on Amazon and Google Play. I haven't written any more books in a while, but they continue to tick over and make a little bit of income. Now, I am not a well-published or best-selling author by any means. I make a few £100s a month from the royalties of selling these books. However, if you add those royalties, so a couple of £100 a month, and you add that on top of the YouTube income, which is maybe, let's say, £250 a month, you're at £450 already. Which is great because I'm not really, other than producing the videos, which I want to do anyway because I enjoy it, I'm not really doing anything major. So the rest of the time I can concentrate on the farming aspect and bringing money in that way. So with our first year of farming, I think you can see that we've tried to diversify a little bit and not put all of our eggs in one basket. I know YouTube works. I know that I can make some money selling my books. I know that selling hatching eggs works, but the camping, the experiences and the market garden are all brand new, and they're where I want to kind of focus my attention. But it was important for us to have some revenue streams that we knew would work and some that were more risky because we've never done it before, but hopefully would pay off. So as you can see from behind me, it's an absolutely beautiful, crisp day. So I'm going to leave you with those thoughts about income streams. How are you going to make revenue on your farm? I would love to hear, especially for starting out just like us. Just let me know in the comments below. But for now, I'm going to go and try my first ever time at making stock fencing.